will continue today with the topics of examination, and we are at the seventh element of faith, which is to say the name of Amida Buddha.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So you agree to continue with this one?
Very good.
Okay. Please, Kosho, entertain us with the Dharma.
Okay. Okay, Joshua Sensei. So yes, the seventh element of faith is to say the name of Amida Buddha, or the practice of the Nembutsu. So this is basically the Nembutsu of faith and gratitude, which is actually the only Nembutsu the way we understand the Nembutsu in the tradition of Jodo Shinshu, in our tradition of Shinran Shonin, the Nembutsu of gratitude and faith. Okay, I will read this passage by Shinran Shonin. He said, although the one moment of Shinjin and the one moment of Nembutsu are two, there is no Nembutsu separate from Shinjin, nor is one moment of Shinjin separate from the one moment of Nembutsu. Then he also said, Amida vowed to take into the land of bliss those who say the name, and thus to entrust oneself deeply and say the name is to be in perfect accord with the primal vow. Though a person may have Shinjin, if he or she does not say the name, it is of no avail. And conversely, even though a person fervently says the name, if that person's Shinjin is shallow, then he cannot attain birth in the Pure Land. Thus, it is the person who both deeply entrusts himself to birth through the Nembutsu and undertakes the name, and undertakes to say the name, who is certain to be born in the true fulfilled land. Okay, this is also Shinran Shonin in the lamp of the later ages. Renyo Shonin also said, Namo means to take refuge in. It means to entrust yourself to Amida Buddha with the assurance of your salvation. Yes, in other words, the Nembutsu in Jodo Shinshu is to be understood according to the primal vow. Yes, so as Shinran said, there is no Shinjin without Nembutsu and no Nembutsu without Shinjin. Yes, otherwise, if you have faith, yes, the natural expression of this faith, of this gratitude, will be to say the name of Amida Buddha. Yes, okay, it's like being in love with a person. Yes, you deeply have devotion and love for Amida Buddha, so naturally his name will be constantly in your heart and your lips and in your mind, okay, as an expression of this gratitude and faith. And this gratitude and faith comes from the fact that you know that your birth in the Pure Land is already a settled matter. It's already assured, yes, by the power of Amida Buddha. So naturally, when you say the Nembutsu, it's in a very relaxed and open way, a very devotional and sincere, yes. Namo Amida Bu, as saying, I take refuge in Amida Buddha. I thank you, Amida Buddha, for saving me as I am, as a sinner, yes. Homage to the Tathagata Amida, yes, Namo Amida Bu. This is what Namo Amida Bu means in Jodo Shinshu, yes? It's not a competition to see how many times you say the Nembutsu. You say the Nembutsu a million times. I say the Nembutsu once. It's not a matter of times, yes? Even Honen Shonin himself, yes, and of course Shinran as well, they said that the true cause of our birth in the Pure Land is not how many times you say the Nembutsu. It is not your state of mind, yes, when you say the Nembutsu. It is only faith. Faith in Amida Buddha, and the expression of this faith is Nembutsu naturally, yes? So whenever there is faith in Amida Buddha, there is the Nembutsu, yes? And whenever there is true Nembutsu, there is also faith, yes? However, we have to bear in mind that if we say just the name of Amida Buddha, you know, like a parrot, yes, without taking into account the primal vow, of course, we create some connection with Amida Buddha. But please be reminded of that there are many temples nowadays that teach many heresies, and people say the Nembutsu there, but this is a false Nembutsu, yes? Why is it false? Because it is not in accordance with the primal vow and not in accordance with the Mahayana, yes? Especially if you have wrong views about Amida Buddha and the Pure Land. In order to say the true Nembutsu of faith, you have to be in accordance with these 8 elements of faith, as expressed by Shakyamuni Buddha and Shinran and Renyo. Yes, and you have to say it as an expression of gratitude for it to be the Nembutsu that Shinran taught us, and also Honen. The Nembutsu that is an expression of gratitude for being saved as you are. Yes. Shinran Shonin also explained, in the primal vow are the words, saying my name, perhaps even 10 times. No, no, this Shinran says this is very important. He says, no from the words 10 times that appear from the beginning in the vow, yeah, the 18th vow itself, that saying the name is not limited to one utterance or to one recitation. The words perhaps even makes it clearer that there is no set of number of times, yes, no set number of times one should say the name. Saying my name perhaps even 10 times. In encouraging us to say the name that embodies the vow, the Tathagata, Amida, added perhaps even to the words 10 times to show that there is no set number of times the name must be said, and to teach sentient beings that there is no determined hour or occasion for saying it. Also very important. Since we have been given this vow by the Tathagata, by Amida Buddha himself, we can take any occasion in daily life for saying the name and need no way to recite it at the very end of life. Okay, so there are many things to be said here, you know. So perhaps even 10 times means that it is not like Amida Buddha says, okay, you have to say the name, I don't know, 7 times or 1,000 times, or I don't know, 1,200 times, exactly that, and then you will go to the Pure Land. No, Amida Buddha makes not such requirements. Yes, even a person at the verge of death, yes, who hasn't practiced any kind of Buddhism at the end of life, only if that person not even says but thinks about Amida Buddha with faith will go to the Pure Land. Yes, because the reason we are born in the Pure Land is because of the power of Amida and because of the faith that is in our hearts, that is actually a reflection of the power of Amida in us. Yes, so it is not, the Nembutsu is not like a self-power practice. Yes, it is not considered like in the 20th vow or the 19th vow where they do many practices and they think that they accumulate personal merits through these practices. Yes, in our case in Jodo Shinshu, we say the name with the full confidence that is because of the power of Amida Buddha that we go to the Pure Land. So in other words, Amida Buddha is the true cause of our birth in the Pure Land. Yes, in the form of Shinjin that comes from him actually. Okay, so any number of Nembutsu is equally good as long as genuine faith in Amida Buddha is present. So if you have an intimate relationship of devotion with Amida Buddha, then you can say the name in the toilet, as Yosho Sensei says. You can say the name in the park, on your way to work, sleeping, cooking, watching TV, doesn't matter. The Nembutsu is equally powerful and effective because it is the power of Amida Buddha, not our own power. Okay, so when we say the Nembutsu, it is equally effective in bringing salvation because it's an expression of our faith for Amida Buddha. On the contrast, if we say the Nembutsu, but we don't have understanding about Amida Buddha, we don't have devotion towards Amida Buddha, then this is a name that maybe will create a seed for future lives, who knows, yes? But this Nembutsu is still not effective in bringing you to the Pure Land because it's not an expression of Shinjin. Whereas if you have Shinjin, then the true Nembutsu will naturally spring from or grow, yes, like a seed. Yeah, okay. So you have Shinjin, and naturally the expression of this faith is Nembutsu, be it mentally, recitation, or just saying the name. Because remember that the Nembutsu is not a mantra. Yes, it's not like a dharani. Yes, it's just saying the name of Amida Buddha, saying it. Name of Amida Buddha. That's Nembutsu. You don't have to be in any posture, in any particular state of mind. You don't have to do any kind of crazy stuff. Only the name of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, and that's it. Okay? Of course, it doesn't mean that you cannot chant. You can also sing the name of Amida Buddha, but it's not a requirement. Okay? It's just saying the name of Amida Buddha. Okay? So as Joshua Sensei says here in page 53, and by the way, I'm reading this, if you are studying along with me, for those watching the video later, or maybe you guys, is in page 53 of the book, the Meaning of Faith and Nembutsu in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Yes. So Joshua Sensei explains here. He says, as explained at the beginning of this subchapter, one who is sincerely in love will say, I love you, often or seldom, and wish to be with the person he or she loves. Similarly, a person who is sincerely entrusts to Amida Buddha will express this faith by saying his name and wish to be born in his Pure Land. Yes, of course, if you are truly in love with Amida Buddha, and if you truly understand what Amida Buddha is and the offer that he's giving to us in the primal vow. He's offering us salvation in the Pure Land, offering us Buddhahood in his enlightened realm. That is natural, yes, that if you have faith in Amida Buddha, you will want to be with him after you die. It is natural, yes? So as Joshua Sensei says, how often or seldom one says, I love you, to the person he loves is of no importance, as long as love is there in his heart. In the same way, any number of Nembutsu is equally good, as long as genuine faith in Amida Buddha is present. We should not be obsessed with the number of recitations, yes? So for example, if you, for example, in my experience, sometimes sometimes I love to watch movies and documentaries at night. And sometimes I wake up very late for work, yes? And I know I won't have maybe a lot of time to say Nembutsu, okay? So what I do is I just bow into the altar, then say the Nembutsu maybe 10 minutes or 5 minutes, doesn't matter, okay? Or no Nembutsu at all. I just think of Amida Buddha and make a reference, and that's it, and it's very relaxed, yes? And my relationship with Amida Buddha is not based, yes, on, precise acts of one number of Nembutsu, all of that, okay? It's just a living relationship with Amida Buddha, and you just say the name of Amida when you feel like it, and also when you have time, yes? Very relaxed. So it's not like, yeah, today I only said the Nembutsu 1 hour, or today I only said the Nembutsu 1 minute, or today I didn't even think so much about Amida Buddha, but only thought once. It doesn't matter, yes? Okay? It's like the relationship with a person, a loved one. There are some days in which you are with that person and you tell them you love them many times. Other days in which you don't very much think of the person so much. Yes. So it's not so important how many times you say the name externally. The thing is having faith in your mind and your heart. Yes. Or as Joshua Sensei puts it in a very good example, it's like breathing. Sometimes you know that you are breathing, yes, but sometimes you forget that you are breathing, and when you see a beautiful landscape or you are very moved by something, then you take a deep breath and you relax and you notice your breath, yes, okay? That doesn't mean that the breath was not there until you noticed it, okay? So faith in Amida Buddha is like that. It is always there, yes, or is always this trust in Amida Buddha, but sometimes it is not expressed, or you don't notice it, yes, until you maybe do a reverential act towards Amida Buddha, but the faith is always there, yes, okay, even when we are not thinking about it, okay? So we should abandon any kind of idea that when you have faith in Amida Buddha, you are constantly thinking about Amida Buddha, you have to be like a saint, always thinking about the pure and about the Dharma and all of this, because we are mundane sentient beings. Shinran Shonin said this quite clearly, yes? We are mundane beings, possessed of blind passions, yes? We are very much attached to samsara, yes? And we are samsaric beings, okay? So we do many things that are not related to the Buddha Dharma, yes? Okay, and we are not required by Amida Buddha to have special feelings of gratitude or special feelings about being born in the Pure Land, okay? Of course, from time to time, you maybe can read a sacred text or listen to a sermon or say the Nembutsu and have, devotional feelings. Of course, this is natural, yes? But our faith is not determined by having or not such feelings, yes? Our faith is only entrusting yourself to Amida Buddha, yes, saying his name, wishing to be born in his Pure Land, and being assured of your birth in the Pure Land, okay? So having faith is...
Sorry, one more thing. Yes, it's very important to understand that we are not supposed to always feel something special in relation with faith and Amida Buddha, which means also that we should not think there is something wrong with us if we don't always feel gratitude towards Amida Buddha. The idea that Nembutsu is the expression of gratitude does not mean that we should always have feelings of gratitude. Even if somebody helps you in a very important matter, you might feel gratitude when he helps you, but you can't say that all the minutes of your life, all the seconds of your life, you will feel gratitude. So the idea that Nembutsu is an expression of gratitude actually means the Nembutsu is to say thank you to Amida Buddha. See, that's important. So Nembutsu means I take refuge in Amida Buddha, I entrust to Amida Buddha, and thank you, Amida Buddha, for saving me as I am. You don't need to have special feelings of gratitude all the time. That's not important. But the idea is that when you say the Nembutsu, thank you is included in that Nembutsu of faith. You see, that's very important, because I met some people who were obsessed about the fact that they are not always feeling gratitude. You know, it's impossible. Even if somebody saves your life, you can't always develop great feelings of gratitude. But from time to time, you remember and you say thank you to him, or you meet him or say thank you. Amida Buddha didn't say entrust in his primal vow, entrust to me, say my name, wish to be born in my land, and feel and have great feelings of gratitude. No, because everything is included in Nembutsu. Faith and thank you is included in Nembutsu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing for a lot of people who, right after they realize they have Shinjin, after that you start to examine yourself and say, oh, why don't I feel a certain way? Why am I not always grateful? Why am I not always happy and desiring to go to the Pure Land? Because you are a person of karmic faults. You're a person of, evil desires. You're a being of samsara. You're a person living in this lower realm. You're not enlightened. And it takes a while for some people to realize, okay, yes, I know I have Shinjin. I have that knowing that Amida and his Pure Land is real. I have that true desire to be born in my next life in the Pure Land. That doesn't make me perfect in this realm. I'm still Dave. I mean, I'm Shaku Joshun. I'm a member of the sangha, but I'm still Dave. I'm still a screw up. And I've got evil thoughts and emotions and lust, desires, everything else. That's not going to change until I become a fully enlightened Buddha in the Pure Land. And that's very important to remember.
Yes. And when Renyo spoke about Nembutsu as being the expression of gratitude, he said it in this way, that Nembutsu means to say thank you. And he used this expression in order to show that Nembutsu is not like a self-power practice. You don't need to say Nembutsu in order to achieve birth in the Pure Land. Like Nembutsu is your own practice, and you gather merits, and then you go to the Pure Land. So he said Nembutsu is thank you. This is why, to make our minds, he said that not to complicate our minds, that now we need to develop special feelings of gratitude, but in order to show us that Nembutsu is not a self-power practice. This is why.
Okay, continuing with the explanations of here of the quotes that are provided in the book. This is a quote from the notes on descriptions on sacred scrolls by Shinran. He says, neither those who say the name more than 10 times, nor those who only hear the name are omitted or excluded from birth in the Pure Land. Okay, so that means when a person hears the name, of course, hearing that name in faith, this is very important. Okay, so when you hear the name, it is instantly the name of Amida Buddha is present in your mind or heart. Yes, and if you hear it with faith, it's the same as saying the name, so to speak. Okay, because remember that the Nembutsu is not limited to the verbal expression or to the mental expression or to hearing it with faith. It includes all of those things. Yes. Then the question is, which is superior in merit? And this is a question that was put forward or was asked to Honen Shonin. No? He said, which is superior in merit? A mere single utterance of Nembutsu or 10 repetitions of the Nembutsu? The answer of Honen Shonin, he says, they have the same merit with regard to birth in the Pure Land. The number of recitations is not the issue. The merit of birth in the Pure Land is equal, as is clearly stated in the primal vow. How can there be any doubt? Yes, so we hear it straight from the mouth of Honen Shonin. Yes, that actually the name of the Nembutsu is not the issue. The merit of birth in the Pure Land is equal. Yes. Okay. Why? It's because the merits are not contained in your ability to say the name. Yes. Many times, or with a special state of mind. Yes. The merits are already contained in the Nembutsu. Yes. And it doesn't matter how many times you say it, as long as you have a Shinjin or faith. Yes. Or in the other words of Honen Shonin, when he was asked by the answer that he gave to Shinran. Yes, when Shinran was saying that actually the Shinjin of Honen is the same Shinjin as I, Shinran, have. Yes, when he was asking this, and all the students of Honen were very much, outraged, and they were very much, surprised. And then Honen Shonin said, yes, Shinran is correct. Senran, no? Shinran. Yes, it is true. Whoever doesn't have the same Shinjin or the same faith that I have won't go to the same Pure Land that I will go to after death. Yes. Meaning to say that Honen Shonin and Shinran were in accordance or were agreed that actually the true cause of your birth in the Pure Land is not your skill in saying the name of Amida Buddha or any kind of self-power practice, but it's only a simple faith in Amida Buddha whose expression is only Nembutsu or simple Nembutsu. Yes. Then it's also said here. You state that with one utterance or with one recitation of the Nembutsu, the cause of birth in the Pure Land is fulfilled. It is truly so. Even so, however, it doesn't mean that a person should not say the Nembutsu beyond one utterance. This matter is explained fully in Essentials of Faith alone, which is a work of Master Seikaku. He said, please read this work carefully, says Shinran. I have been taught that since it is the primal vow of birth through the Nembutsu, whether one says the Nembutsu many times or whether one says whether one says it only once, one will be born in the Pure Land. It must be never taught that one will certainly attain birth with only one utterance, but will not attain birth if one says it many times. Please carefully read Essentials of Faith alone. Yes, and I will read this passage of Essentials of Faith alone because it is so important. Yes, it says here, this is Master Seikaku. And some falsely say, the essence of the path of birth in the Pure Land is a trusting mind. Once this mind of trust has become settled, it is not always necessary to recite the Nembutsu. The sutra teaches, say it even once. Hence, one utterance is understood to be sufficient. When one seeks to accumulate many utterances, it is on the contrary a failure to entrust in the Buddha's vow. Thus, these people, they greatly mock and gravely slander those who recite the Nembutsu, saying that they are people who do not truly believe in the Nembutsu. Yeah? This is, of course, wrong. We will see why. He said, these people, says Master Seikaku, adhering to the doctrine of one's calling, they stop saying the Nembutsu. This is the means the demons have used to deceive the sentient beings of this latter age. In such explanations, they are both good and bad. There are both good and bad points. In principle, the statement that one utterance suffices as the act for birth in the Pure Land is perfectly true. Nevertheless, it is going too far to say that the accumulation of a large number of utterances shows the lack of a trusting mind. It does show, however, a lack of a trusting mind if one believes that one utterance is insufficient and birth requires accumulating a great number of utterances. Master Shantao stated that as long as one is alive, one should constantly say the Nembutsu. Are we to say that such people lack trust? To dismiss them with ridicule would be wrong. One utterance actually appears in a passage of the sutra. Not to believe it is not to believe the Buddha's words. Thus, one should believe in the settling of birth with one utterance, and further continue saying the name without negligence through one's life. This is the true meaning of the teaching. Yes? So, but there are basically two extreme points of view, yes, that are here. The one's calling, yes, there are people who say that you should only say the Nembutsu once if you truly have faith, and you should try to reprimand yourself or to try to, force yourself not to say the name, because that way you show that you don't have faith in Amida Buddha if you are accumulating calls. This is the extreme of one calling, yes, one calling of the name. But there is also another extreme that says that if you don't say the name millions of times or thousands of times a day, then your birth is not settled. This is the heresy of many callings. So many callings and one calling are actually two extremes, yes, as Master Seikaku says here. Because, of course, yes, if you have faith in Amida Buddha, it is true, yes, that if you only say the Nembutsu once with faith, then you are assured of birth in the Pure Land. But it is going too far, yes, to say that you should not say the Nembutsu in a relaxed manner throughout your life. Why shouldn't you do it? Yes, if Shinran did it, Honen did it, Shantao, Tan Luan, all of them were constantly saying the Nembutsu with gratitude. Yes, why? Because if you have a relationship of devotion towards Amida Buddha, you will be saying the name of Amida Buddha with with a relaxed mind, because actually you know that the name of Amida Buddha is a gift. Yes, Amida Buddha is giving you his name, so you only enjoy the name as many times as you want, as an expression of faith. Yes, and the other heresy of many callings is also a lack of shinjin. Why? Because you believe that that you have to say the name millions of times, maybe in some kind of effort to try to convince Amida Buddha somehow that you should be born in the Pure Land. This also lacks shinjin. So both extremes are actually lacking shinjin. Yes, the extreme of many callings lacks shinjin because they think that you go to the Pure Land by your skill at saying the name of Amida Buddha many times. And the heresy of one calling also lacks faith, because even if they believe that one name, one recitation of the Nembutsu with faith is sufficient towards birth in the Pure Land, they go so far and they distort the teaching. Yes, they make a distortion of the teaching by trying to force yourself not to have a relationship with Amida Buddha, and you should force yourself somehow not to say the name of Amida Buddha. Yes, which is also a heresy. Yes, you should, on the other hand, walk a path that is beyond these two extremes. And you should say the name of Amida Buddha with faith, believing firmly, as Honen and Shinran said, that only one calling is sufficient for going to the Pure Land, because actually the cause of your birth in the Pure Land is shinjin. Yes, and nevertheless, you should continue to say the name of Amida Buddha with a relaxed state of mind as an expression of gratitude. Okay, this is the way of Jodo Shinshu, by saying the name of Amida Buddha in a relaxed way. And naturally, having this love for Amida Buddha, you will naturally feel the need to say the name of Amida Buddha. It is natural. Yes, it is like we have explained. If you are in love with somebody, yes, in this case, we are in love with Amida Buddha, then you will naturally feel the need to say the name of Amida Buddha throughout your life. However little or frequent that may be is not important. Okay, so we should be very careful about these two extremes. And I will continue to explain it here. Yes. In the clarification of one calling and many callings, Master Ryukan said, these days, the practice of the Nembutsu is being entangled in vigorous debate over the doctrines of one's calling and many callings. No? This debate touches matters of crucial importance and demands that we exercise great care. Both the advocacy of a position of one's calling that rejects many calling, and the advocacy of many callings in the enunciation of one's calling run counter to the essential meaning of the primal vow and fail to take into account the teaching of Master Shantao. Yes, he says, many callings is nothing but the accumulation of single callings, for human life is such that a person should consider each day that this may be his last, each minute that this may be the end. From the very moment of our birth, this realm of impermanence is merely a fleeting and temporary dwelling. Our lives may be compared to a lantern flame before the wind, or likened to dew upon a blade of grass, and there is no escape anywhere for even a single person, whether wise or foolish, from the extinction of breath and the draining away of life. If your eyes may close forever, even in this present instant, then we say Namo Amida Butsu, aspiring to be saved by Amida Buddha's primal vow and welcome into the Pure Land of perfect bliss, based on our trust in the supreme virtues embodied in a single calling and our reliance on the great and vast benefit of that one calling. A life continues. This single calling or this single recitation becomes 2 or 3 callings. They accumulate so that one moment becomes an hour, then 2 hours, a day or 2, a month, a year, 2 years, 10 or 20 years, 80 years. The immutable nature of our existence is expressed truly in the statement that we should wonder how is it that we are still alive today, and whether this very instant will be our last in the world. If a person maintains that many callings is necessary, even though there is no many callings separate from one calling, nor any one's calling apart from many callings. Okay, so in other words, trying to focus on the frequency of the Nembutsu misses the point of having faith in Amida Buddha. Yes, because if you truly have faith in Amida Buddha, then the frequency of saying it once or saying it many times doesn't matter as long as you have faith in Amida Buddha. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, I will continue quoting here. Okay, I will read the conclusion here on page 59. Yes, it's a very long passage, but it's very important. It says here. So go to page 59. It says here, these passages teach beyond all doubt that there should not be controversy over the positions of one's calling and many calling. The person who has simply entrusted himself to Amida's vow should continue to say the Nembutsu until the end of this life, with birth in the Pure Land as his goal. You must not cling to one or the other extreme. Yes? And remember, this is actually the seventh element of faith that we're talking about. Yes? We should say the name of Amida Buddha as an expression of gratitude. We should never, yes, try to force people not to say the name of Amida Buddha. Saying the name of Amida Buddha is very good. Yes? Especially if you say it in accordance with the primal vow. Yes? So those who adhere to one's calling, as well as those who cling tenaciously to many callings, invariably meet with inauspicious deaths, for both deviate from the meaning of the primal vow. That is to say, people who cling to the extreme of saying the name of Amida Buddha with obsession, and others who cling to saying just once the name of Amida Buddha and forcing themselves not to say the name of Amida Buddha, are obviously people who lack faith. Yes, because if you have true faith in Amida Buddha, you won't obsess over numbers. Yes, very important. So consider this carefully. It cannot be said too often that you must avoid confusing the truth that many calling is itself one's calling and that one's calling is many calling. In other words, when you say the name of Amida Buddha in a relaxed way, you will continue to say it as an expression of faith throughout your life. Yes, doesn't matter if it's only, I don't know, the name of Amida Buddha will come to your heart naturally if you have faith in him, and you shouldn't force yourself to say it many times or only once. Okay, so clearly the two extremes miss the point of Shinjin. Yes, and actually this debate is actually very modern. It's not only about the past. There are many teachers nowadays in China and Taiwan who are very much into some expression of these heresies. Yes, because they teach people sometimes that they should say the name of Amida Buddha with a very focused state of mind, and they make people doubt that they will be born in the Pure Land, you know. And there are other people, yes, I think in Japan, I don't know if these schools of one's calling still exist, but they certainly existed, yes, during after Shinran, yes, and maybe also during Honen's times, many people who believe very crazy things about Nembutsu. So we should abandon all of those extremes and just entrust ourselves to Amida Buddha and say the name of Amida Buddha in a relaxed state of mind as an expression of faith. Yes, I don't know if Yosho Sensei wants to add something to this. Yes, I think it's a very important topic.
I think also in Jodo Shu, there is in some branches of Jodo Shu, there is much emphasis on how much on saying the name many times. Yes, so I would like to remind you guys that Shinran didn't actually want to create a new school. So he considers himself to be a disciple of Honen, and that he taught true Jodo Shu teaching. So Honen is regarded as the founder of Jodo Shu, and Shinran Shonin regarded himself as true Jodo Shu, as teaching true Jodo Shu Buddhism. You know, yes. So after this is because after Honen went to the Pure Land, many disciples of Honen started to be very active in teaching what they consider to be the Jodo Shu of Honen. And Shinran realized that among the many disciples of Honen, there are some who teach wrong views, or they are not, they didn't correctly understood the Jodo Shu or Pure Land teaching of Honen, which is why he called his teaching true Jodo Shu, true Pure Land teaching of Honen. So that's why. So we are actually Jodo Shinshu consider themselves to be true Jodo Shu disciples, belonging to the true Jodo Shu school. That is Jodo Shinshu. Jodo Shinshu appeared as the name of a school only after Shinran went to the Pure Land.